NCAA poll confirms that the two top gymnastic teams are here: Alabama, Georgia, Utah, LSU, and Michigan. Hi, everybody. Chris Marlowe along with Maura Driscoll. And welcome. Let's get you right to the action. Rotation 1, Alabama on vault, Georgia on the uneven bars. And this is the great Robin Hawkins, a 5'2" sophomore from Memphis, Tennessee.
She was last year's SEC Freshman of the Year, which is a tremendous honor, especially given the talent in this conference, and she is a phenomenal vaulter. She's going to be doing a half-on, half-off layout front. A little form difficulty, and she had some problems on the landing. As you can see, she took a few steps. That'll cost her a few tens. But the gymnasts are allowed to take 2 vaults, and they will keep the score of the best vault. Here's another look at what happens. She does a half-on, half-off. She doesn't push completely through her arms, which is why she goes off to the side there. Let's take another look at it. She does a half-on. You want to get completely around, and the half-twist, you see how she didn't turn her body completely around, which is why she landed off to the side. She can definitely do that vault better, and I'm sure she got a few pointers from her coaches, and she will try to improve on that in her second vault.
David Patterson, the assistant coach, walking her back. She gets a 9.8 for her first vault.
I think that's a very generous score. This vault was made famous by J.C. Phelps, 96 U.S. Olympian. She invented the vault. It's also called the Phelps. Now, she really wants to just focus on the landing, because if she nails this vault, they're going to give her a big score. That was much nicer. She was square off of the horse. The judges are looking for height off of the horse and distance away from the horse. She did that very well this time, better than the first vault. She did take that step, so it's at least a 10th on the landing. Let's take another look. Better push. See that? Square in the air. Anticipates the floor. Big step, but a much better vault. I think that was a better vault, but the landing may be more of a deduction than the previous vault. We'll have to see what the judges think.
Georgia on bars. Here is the #1 gymnast in the country, Karen Litchie, a 5'1" senior from Cincinnati, Ohio.
She's also the #1 ranked gymnast on the uneven bars, and the biggest thing that separates her is her beautiful form and her flawless execution. You can certainly see why she has scored 10s on this event. Beautiful pirouetting. Look at this big release skill, a piked Jaeger. That is an E element. It's worth 2 tenths of bonus. And she does it perfectly. No form breaks. Her legs are together. Her toes are pointed. And watch this dismount. A huge double layout to a really nice landing. A tiny little step, but that was a phenomenal routine.
Robin Hawkins, we can tell you, received a 9.85 for her vault.
So she did receive a higher score in the second vault, and that's the score she'll keep. Just look at her form. Right on top of the bar in the handstand. Her legs are together. Just beautiful. Boom, right on top. And watch this double layout. 2 flips backward in a completely stretched position. A little leg separation, but really not a big deal, and a solid landing.
Karen Litchie has 7 10s on bars during her career, 1 this year. Let's go back to the vault. Here is Andrea Pickens, the talented freshman from Houston, Texas.
And she is making a name for herself. They love her here in Tuscaloosa. She's so strong and so powerful. She's ranked #3 on this event. And she will be doing a round-off entry vault. Half-twist layout. Oh, that was beautiful. Now, this vault, Chris, has only been allowed in college as of last season. And it's great for the elite gymnasts like Andrea, because she comes into college. She knows how to perform this vault. She wants to be able to perform it. Watch this. It's a round-off entry. Called her Yurchenko vault. Back handspring, half-twist, layout front. Beautiful. Tiny little hop, but boy, was that beautiful. The execution was great. Look at the power. Excellent. Anticipates the floor. Boom. That vault is worth a 10.0, so the maximum score she could score is a perfect 10. That's what you're going for on vault.
Karen Litchie, 9.9 for her bars routine, and a 9.925 first vault. Andrea Pickens.
She has to be pleased with that, because she knows she can nail that landing. The execution in the air is good. The push off of the horse, the distance away from the horse, all the things the judges are looking for. She just needs to stick this vault, and we may see our first 10 of the night. Oh.
Not quite.
Yeah, I mean, again, she has really great execution in the air. but a little over-rotated. It's very difficult when you're rotating forward because you cannot see the floor. You cannot anticipate the floor. You can't see with your eyes. You really have to know where you are in the air. Watch this. Half twist, lay out front. You need to open up at the proper time in order to stick the landing, and she over-rotated it. Here's another look. Great push, nice form in the air. She should have opened up a little bit sooner.
9.925 her final vault score. Andrea Pickens for Alabama. Let's go back to the bars. Here's Jenny Beathard, the 1997 NCAA bars champion, a 5'2" senior from Alamonte Springs, Florida.
This is her trademark event. She has been an All-American every year she's been at Georgia on the uneven bars. She just has beautiful swing. Take a look at this. That's actually called the Galloway Giant, invented by her teammate Stacy Galloway. She does beautiful pirouetting. And here comes her first release skill. That's called a reverse heck or a takachev. Straddle back to handstand. She's moving really well so far. Now, all of Georgia's bar routines end with E-dismounts, the most difficult you can perform. And here comes a big one, full twisting double back to a perfect landing. That was outstanding. Georgia has to be thrilled with this start. Take a look at her first big release skill, a takachev. The judges want to see a lot of height, and you want to catch those release skills away from the bar, as far away as you can. Now, but watch this dismount. This really puts the exclamation point on this routine. Full twisting double back, boom.
She did have a 10 earlier this year against Florida. We're awaiting the score for Jenny Beathard. All right, rotation one is over. We're off to a great start, and the atmosphere is wild here in Tuscaloosa. Hi, everybody. Chris Marlowe and Maura Driscoll. Alabama is #1. Georgia is #2. Both teams are from the Southeastern Conference. What a great rivalry.
Chris, this is one of the greatest rivalries in all of college sports, really, because these two teams could not be more opposite. First of all, they are not very fond of each other. They really epitomize the whole concept of rivalry. The coaching philosophies are very different, but year in and year out, they're in the hunt for the national title, and this year is no exception. Alabama #1, Georgia #2. But keep in mind, Georgia is the defending national champion, and last year, this season rather, they already beat Alabama in Athens. Now throw all that out the window and welcome to Tuscaloosa, because they're expecting 15,000 fans tonight, and if this partisan crowd has anything to say about it, Alabama will be on top at the end of tonight's competition.
7 women in the all-around competition, highlighted by a senior and a freshman.
That's right, and we already saw the senior. Senior Karen Litchie from Georgia is the #1 all-arounder in the country. She made headlines as a freshman when she became the first gymnast ever to score a perfect 40 in the all-around. She's up to much of the same excitement this year, scoring 3 10s already. And Alabama has had their own show of perfection from a freshman named Andrea Pickens. We got a chance to see her already also. She scored a 10 on the uneven bars. She's ranked #4 in the nation, and she is outstanding on every single event.
Jenny Beathard got a 9.9. It's only going to get better. Georgia and Alabama rotation 2 is coming right up. Stay with us. ESPN's coverage of Southeastern Conference Gymnastics is brought to you by Nike. Chris Marlowe, Maura Driscoll back with you at a sold-out Coleman Coliseum, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Georgia, with a slight lead over Alabama. Both squads scoring their season best. Georgia on bars, Bama on vault. In the all-around, Andrea Pickens and Gwen Speitel, they lead it, followed by Karen Litchie and Jenny Beathard. Christy Litchie is up as Georgia moves to the vault. Alabama back to the bars. This should be 2 strong rotations for both squads.
Absolutely. And Christy Litchie is, in fact, the younger sister of senior Karen Litchie from Georgia. Christy is still very young and inexperienced, and with that comes a little inconsistency, but she's great on this event. Handspring front pike with a half twist. A little problem on the landing, but a nice vault.
Suzanne Yocklin in her 16th season. She's mic'd tonight. We'll be listening in periodically.
Suzanne expects a lot from her athletes. She's very gutsy herself. She expects her athletes to be the same way. Look at this beautiful vault in the air. Very nice. We'll take another look at it. Now, what Christy needs to do is she needs to have a very tight pike in the air and then do a clean half twist, see the floor, anticipate the landing, and stand it up. She had a little step on the landing, so that will be a deduction.
9.85 for Christy Litchie's first vault.
Now for her second vault, she wants to do much of the same, except she wants to stick the landing. This vault is valued at a perfect 10, so if she nails it and she performs it perfectly, she could score a perfect 10. Oh, see, now what she tried to do this time was anticipate the landing a little bit too much because she was trying to stick it and she was a little short. She under-rotated. The judges are looking for good push off of the horse. Nice body position, tight legs, but she really did not drive her heels enough, so she didn't have enough momentum in rotation, and that's why she was short. That she will not take the score from that vault. She'll take the score of the best vault, the first one, 9.85.
Alabama is the #1 team in the nation on bars. We go there now. Here is Dara Stewart. Stewart, a 5'4" sophomore from Hoover, Alabama.
As a freshman, she earned All-American honors on the bars, so she is a terrific competitor on this event. She was also the Central Regional Bar Champion. Here comes her first big release skill. Oh, beautiful. Nice and high and perfect form in the air. She's a very clean gymnast as well. You can see her legs never come apart. Her toes are pointed. She gives very little away. She did hit her foot on the mat there. That will be a slight deduction. And setting up for her dismount. A double layout, an E-move. Very difficult skill. A little step on the landing, but not a big deal. That was a solid performance. Take another look at her dismount. This is an E element, 2 flips backward in a completely stretched position. She separates her legs and has a little form break, but that's a very tough skill to perform.
We're going to give you her score when we come back. Southeastern Conference Gymnastics will continue right after this. Driscoll. Welcome back. Georgia's on ball. We're going to pick up Brooke Anderson, 5'2" junior from Marietta, Georgia.
Georgia as a team is ranked #2 in the nation on this event. And Brooke Anderson will be performing a completely new vault. It's a front handspring, front somersault with a full twist. Very, very difficult to do. There's only one other gymnast in college who's performed it.
And that is Jenny Hanser of Kentucky.
Jenny Hansen from Kentucky, that's correct. She had a little trouble in, she was a little short. She kind of looked to me like her hand slipped on the pre-flight when she first hit her hands on the front of the horse. We'll take a better look at it to see she wasn't able to get as much push as she needed. Now, there's a lot happening here, a flip and a full twist. See, that left hand didn't quite make it, so she couldn't push all the way through, and therefore she wasn't able to get around. Let's take a look at her left hand as it approaches the vault. Right there, you see that? Way too far in front of the horse. She couldn't push completely through and couldn't complete the twist.
Dara Stewart got a 9.70 for Bama on the bars.
This is a really, really tough vault. She was having some difficulty in warm-ups.
Doug McGavin, the assistant coach for Georgia, told me earlier that this is a vault that if she could perform perfectly, she could win the national championship. He said she's been hitting it in practice.
And the reason why is because she can also perform another vault that's valued at a 10.0, and when you get to nationals and you're in the finals competition, you need to do 2 different vaults, and they average the score, so you really need to have 2 10.0 vaults. Let's take another look. Much better. She still had that problem on the pre-flight, but that was a much better vault. Suzanne Youghlin said she's proud of her. I was saying that she's kind of gutsy and goes for broke, and she expects the same for her athletes. So you can see her a little too far in front of the horse, I think. Wasn't able to get completely around. Though this one is better. Nice push in the air. The tuck is okay. A little loose in the tuck. She needs to start twisting sooner in order to get it all the way around.
9.85.
Now the crowd is booing, Chris, because they don't understand that that vault is tremendously difficult. It's valued at a 10. So she's starting at a higher start value than some of the Alabama gymnasts that may have gotten 9.60.
Back to the bars, Andrea Pickens 5'2" freshman from Houston, Texas. She had a 10 earlier this year against Minnesota on this apparatus.
It was on this event. She does 2 really big release skills. There's one. That's not even one of the ones that I'm counting. That's called a Shaposhnikova. This is a Hindorf. Look at that. Woo! See how high her hips are away from the bar. That's what the judges want to see. And the pirouetting skills right on top of the bar. That was the reverse hex. Another straddle back to handstand. Jam-packed with difficulty. And she finishes with a full twisting double back. Short on the landing. She looked a little tired at the end of that routine, and she under-rotated her dismount, but that routine is so filled with difficulty. Let's see what happened in the... Really, it just looks like a stamina issue. She has so much height in the air. It doesn't... See, she just sort of landed a little short. She was a little tired there. The execution in the air was nice, though.
All right, we're coming back. We'll give you Andrea Pickens' score. More from Tuscaloosa right after this. The Coleman Coliseum. Georgia is undefeated at 5-0. Alabama Crimson Tide 4-1. Their only loss was to Georgia. And yet Alabama is #1. This meet could decide a new #1 if Georgia could pull it off. Here's Karen Litchie.
She'll do a handspring front pike with a half twist.
Ooh.
And she does this vault about as well as you can perform it. That was outstanding. Just beautiful.
Andrea Pickens, let's duck it in a 9-8 for her bars routine.
Good job, you guys.
That's a good score considering that little glitch on the landing.
No, she doesn't need to. It was beautiful.
That's Suzanne
She doesn't
Yocklin.
need to do another vault is what Suzanne is saying, because that vault
That's enough.
was beautiful. She wants to save her from the wear and tear and the pounding, and Karen Lynch is pretty happy about that.
Will the Alabama athletes benefit from the home court advantage, and will the Georgia athletes suffer a bit in terms of scoring?
Goodness. Well, that's a tough one.
All right.
There is definitely sort of a home team bias, and a lot of people believe that home judges favor the home team. But what I think is really going to make a difference is this crowd. 15,000 fans here who plan to influence, you know, the scores and plan to influence the team. And this pumps you up as a team.
Karen Litchie, a 9.975. That's good enough for Coach Suzanne Yocklin.
Just as I said, as close to perfection as you can get it. She is outstanding on this event.
Of course, she's had 10s before.
She's
She's had 3 in her career.
Okay, you guys. Everything up and everything stopped. 1, 2.
Let's go back to the bars now. And here's Natalie Barrington, another one of the freshmen for Bama, 5'3". Freshman from Mississauga, Canada.
Alabama has 6 freshmen this year and 5 sophomores, so they are a very, very young squad. They have a lot of depth, and Sarah Patterson, their head coach, is loving the versatility and the depth of this team, but youth can be a problem at the end of the year, so she wants to give these freshmen a lot of experience so they're ready to perform at nationals. Beautiful pirouetting on top of the bar. Really nice routine. Now, she has scored a 9.925 this season right here in Coleman Coliseum. So she knows how to put up big numbers on the uneven bars. And her dismount, a double pike, not as difficult as some of the dismounts we've been seeing, but nice and clean and finishes strong.
You know, she may be a freshman at Alabama, but she's very experienced. She competed for Canada at the 1994 Pan American Games, and there is Sarah Patterson in her 21st season. Interestingly, she was hired at Alabama in 1978 by legendary football coach and then athletic director Paul Bear Bryant. She's won 3 national championships in her career.
She's done an amazing job with this program. Just look around and see the fan support she has. We're going to take a look at her dismount. Natalie Barrington, she does a double pike dismount. Really pretty. I mean, really no deduction there at all. Nice and high, tight body position in the air. Her legs are together. A nice way to finish that routine.
Alabama's high score this year on bars, 49.220. And both teams performing well. We might see season bests in a lot of apparatuses tonight.
Well, this kind of matchup really inspires tremendous, you know, really career performances.
There is Sarah Patterson. Her assistant coach is David Patterson. They're married.
They are
Co-coaches.
It's another very famous husband and wife team in college gymnastics.
9.875, excuse me, for Barrington. All right, Georgia and Alabama, the number is 1 and 2 teams in the nation going at it. More from Tuscaloosa in a minute. I'm watching women's gymnastics, the 2 top teams in the nation, Georgia and Alabama. After 2 rotations, Alabama was hoping to make a move on bars. They could not. Georgia maintaining a slight lead. The all-around, Georgia's Karen Litchie with a slight lead. Gwen Speidel and Andrea Pickens following it up. Robin Hawkins, Christy Litchie, and Jenny Beathard. Alabama coach Sarah Patterson, she's been going up against Georgia since 1978. A little earlier tonight, we asked her, what about the huge rivalry? Here's what she said.
I think it's been great for the sport of college gymnastics. I think it's been great for the sport of gymnastics and women's programs in general. Anytime that you can place 15,000 spectators to see a group of talented young women on both teams perform, I think you've got something tremendously exciting.
She is a 3-time National Coach of the Year. She has done an outstanding job with this team, with this program. Look at the fans that she puts in this stadium. She's incredible. She's worked very hard to increase attendance and exposure for the team. She's done a great job. This is Robin Hawkins, last year's SEC Freshman of the Year. The balance beam is a very tricky event. It's the pressure event in college gymnastics, in all of gymnastics really. The team that stays on the beam is usually the team that wins the competition.
Mandy Chapman had a 9.85 to lead off, and Reagan Tomasek fell. She received a 9.325, so pressure now on the Bama competitors.
And
nicely
that's a
done.
big tumbling pass, back handspring layout, step out. Keep in mind though that there are 6 athletes on each event, but only 5 scores count, so they can drop the lowest score. They have a fall, so nobody else can fall. And here's a big, major deduction there. A nice save by Robin Hawkins. That's a front somersault. It's tough to do. Keep in mind the balance beam is 4 inches wide and 4 feet off the ground, and that skill is a completely blind element. The way the scoring works in gymnastics is that routine start off with a certain start value if you meet all of the requirements, and that start value is a 9.5, so it's up to the gymnast to do certain elements to raise their start value to a perfect 10. And the way they do that is by doing difficult skills and skills in combination. Oh, really nice Rudy dismount. Lots of twisting there. That was a little scary because she had a problem on her front somersault. This she handled very well. Back handspring, layout, step out. But this is where she had the problem. A front somersault. She can't see the beam until her feet land on it. So she has to do a little balance check there. Her shoulders got a little out of alignment, and she had to square up and save the skill, which was great that she did that.
Let's go over to the floor exercise. And this is Sam Muehlman, number 2 in the nation, on floor. She is good.
She is, and you know, this is a great chance to talk about the 2 different styles of gymnastics. Georgia is flashy, bold, in your face. You either like them or you hate to compete against them, and the floor exercise is where they kind of, as I said, flashy. Double pike, first pass, very nicely done.
2 good scores so far. Jenny Beathard got a 9.85. Galloway got a 9.825. So Georgia is rolling so far on floor.
Absolutely, off to a great start. And her second tumbling pass. Really nice pass in combination. The gymnasts are required to do a tumbling pass that has at least 2 saltos in it, so that was her meeting that particular requirement.
Sam Muehlman is a 5'3" senior from Kettering, Ohio.
I should say she is currently ranked number 1 in the nation on this event. Georgia has a lot of difficulty. They love to push the envelope. Alabama actually also has a lot of difficulty. They've upgraded their difficulty because they have a lot of depth. Very clean finish. And a nice performance by the number 1 ranked gymnast on the floor exercise this year.
Due to the latest rankings, the rankings coming out a little bit slowly this week, she's gone from 2 to 1, and she looks great.
And here's a reason why. Watch this double back. It's 2 flips backward in a pike position, beautiful body position in the air, sees the floor and stands it up perfectly. Her second tumbling pass, very unique. She does a whip back to a full and a half to an immediate punch front. It's that combination that renders bonus. And she does a front full.
You controlled it really good. Most people would have just.
All right, we'll give you Sam Muehlman's score when we come back.
Yeah, that middle pass is beautiful.
Right after this.
You need to always worry about it.
The tennis record here, over 15,000. We might approach that tonight. Here's the freshman from Houston, Andrea Pickens. She needs a big score here because Robin Hawkins got a 9.350, which has to count.
They have to count that because Reagan Tomasak fell and got a lower score than that. So to count a 9.3 is really going to hurt them.
Alabama's had some problems on beam. The last meet here against Minnesota, every one of their 6 performers fell at least once, so they've been having confidence problems.
And the beam is such a pressure event. They have the advantage because they're at home and they can just basically simulate their everyday experience. They're home, this is their crowd. They don't have to. That was a beautiful pass. 2 back handsprings to a layout step out. But on the balance beam, it's time to settle down. The first 2 events, vault and bars, your adrenaline is pumping. You can use that explosive energy to your benefit on those events. Sometimes that explosive energy goes against you on this event. It takes you right off the balance beam.
6 freshmen, 5 sophomores on the roster for Alabama.
And let me tell you something about the balance beam and experience. You want experienced athletes to come through for you in the clutch. And when the more experience you have, the better you are on this event. There's just no 2 ways about it.
Sam Muehlman of Georgia got a 9.9 on floor. They're smoking so far.
Andrea is doing a terrific job, and they really need her to step up. She's not known for this event. This is not one of her strongest. But she finishes with a beautiful double back.
6 to landing.
Really nicely done. I'll tell you, she's a freshman, and she came up big when the pressure was on and when she needed it to count. And Sarah Patterson has to be happy about that. I spoke to her about having such a young team, and she said, you know what, I really need to give them the meet experience now because I'm going to need to count on them at nationals, and they have to be able to perform in that situation. Look at this dismount, great height and a really rock-solid landing.
She has the 2nd highest all-around score in the country this year to Karen Litchie, so she's terrific at all disciplines. She is stoked about that landing, at least.
And Coach Patterson thinks it's awesome. You know, Sarah Patterson is also the Associate Athletic Director at the University of Alabama, so she is a very busy woman.
Christy Litchie coming up next on floor. Litchie, the younger, shorter sister of Karen Litchie. 9.925 against Bama in the first meeting.
She has so much talent. When she puts it all together, she's tremendous. She opens with a beautiful double pike, nice and high. She made that look so easy. That was the same tumbling pass that Sam Muehlman performed. It is a D element worth 1/10 of bonus. I spoke about raising the value of your routine. This is a way to do it, performing D and E elements and performing skills in combination. Another double back. That's Georgia pushing the envelope, throwing the big skills. There are easy and safe ways to get D's and E's. Georgia just does not believe in that philosophy.
9.875 on the beam for Pickens. That is a career best for her. So a shot in the arm for Bama. Although Georgia's been so strong on floor.
And don't forget that Alabama has to count that score, that 9-3, that's really going to hurt them. Whip half, lots of combination tumbling there. What an outstanding routine. You know, Suzanne Yoakum said to me, she's young and she's inexperienced, but she's so talented. You never know which Christy Litchie is going to show up, and this is the one that Suzanne Yoakum wants to see, I can tell you that much. Watch this double back. Unbelievable. Way up in the air. Tight pike, a little bent knees. And her last tumbling pass, lots of combinations. She does a half front layout into a front pike. Nicely done.
All right, we are coming back in the midst of rotation number 3. Georgia with a slight lead on Alabama. Driscoll, the attendance tonight, 14,079 jammed in. Some of the students are at Mardi Gras, or we would have had a sellout, maybe a new record, as we pick up Gren Speidel, number 5 in the nation, on beam. Christy Litchie gets a 9-9 on floor.
Gwen is the emotional leader of this team. She's the kind of gymnast that coaches love. She's consistent, dependable, an amazing competitor. At the end of the night, she will have put up a terrific performance on every event. And again, experience in the balance beam goes a long way. You can just sense the confidence, too. She has practiced this routine hundreds and thousands of times. Here's her big tumbling pass. Back handspring, layout, step out, back handspring. A little bit of a save.
Speidel, one of just 2 seniors on the Alabama squad.
A very young and inexperienced team. So someone like Gwen and her senior teammate Mandy Chapman, they really provide a tremendous amount of leadership for this young squad. She's doing a nice job so far. She was a 98 All-American on the balance beam and the Central Regional Balance Beam champion. So she has come up big in the big meets. You know, Chris, the SEC conference is the most competitive conference in the country for women's gymnastics. She finishes with a gainer full, a very simple dismount, but a very clean performance with a lot of difficulty within the routine.
Well, Alabama certainly performing better this week than they did against Minnesota. They've had some good routines and some poor routines, but the good ones are spectacular.
Here's a look at her tumbling pass. She does a back handspring, layout, step out into an immediate back handspring. See, her back leg didn't get in as close as it needed to, so that's why she was a little bit off there, but a very minor deduction. And she dismounts with a very simple gainer, full twist off the side of the beam, the tuck position. It's, you know, no deduction whatsoever, but not a huge dismount in terms of difficulty.
That was just a real awesome thing. Thank you. I was like, I think I was on your side.
Let's now go back to the floor exercise. And Suzanne Sears, 5'4" sophomore from Marietta, Georgia. Big tumbler coming. She has jets, according to her coach.
She does. My favorite Suzanne Yochlin quote is when she said, "You can camp out under her double back." That means it's nice and high and it's not coming down for a while.
9.85 for Speidel on the beam.
As a freshman, Suzanne Sears was a 98 All-American on the floor exercise, ranked number 3 in the nation this season. She hasn't competed in 2 weeks on floor, actually. Here she comes with a beautiful double back, nice and high, just floating in the air, drops out of the sky.
She had a 9.9 on her first floor exercise ever for Georgia. That's Suzanne Yochlin you hear in the background, our Georgia coach's mic.
And her second double back, a double pike. Just beautiful. She has been out of the floor line of the last 2 meets because she had back spasms after vaulting at the LSU meet. She certainly doesn't seem to be having any problems tonight. She looks phenomenal out there. Those are the kind of acrobat gymnastics series lead passes that the gymnasts can earn bonus from. So we'll be seeing a lot of those. She finishes with a double full.
Georgia is ranked 2nd in the nation on floor. You can see why. They have had 5 outstanding performances. 5 of 5.
Okay,
they really have. But also keep in mind, Georgia needs to finish on the balance beam in somebody else's gym. And that is very difficult to do, but watch this. Front through to a double tuck, excuse me, so high. And her second tumbling run is a double pike, 2 flips backward in the pike position. This is a D move. She has all kinds of bonus in this routine. Nice and high. Nicely done. She finishes her routine with a double fold, 2 twists backwards. Just a sophomore. Part of the future of this Georgia team. Georgia more experienced than Alabama. Georgia has 4 outstanding seniors.
9.875 for Suzanne Sears. More Georgia, Alabama coming up right after this. Coliseum, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. This will be the site of the Southeastern Conference Championships a little bit later in the year. And here is Lissy Smith, 5'2" soft, Memphis, Tennessee. She's on beam.
She is a terrific beam worker who also happens to be consistent, and that is the combination that coaches love. All the skill in the world doesn't help you if you're going to fall. If you have to count falls, you're in trouble.
14 times she went last year. Only 1 fall. That's the consistent mark that the coaches like about her.
Exactly. Big tumbling pass, 2 layouts in a row. That's 2 Ds back to back, so she gets credit for the Ds, a 10th each, plus the combination bonus. She's tied with Mandy Chapman for last season's highest beam score, which was a 9.95. You know, she and sophomore Robin Hawkins trained at the same gym before coming to the University of Alabama. Memphis Gym Stars. This is a huge vote of confidence that she's competing in the last spot. She's just a sophomore, so they're putting the youth up last, and that's, like I said, a vote of confidence for her. Routines usually get better as the rotation goes on.
Well, last year at the NCAA Super 6, she had 9.9 on beam as a freshman.
Planar layout into an immediate wolf jump. It's that gymnastics acrobatic combination that renders bonus. Double full dismount. Again, another solid performance. Time and time again, she comes up big.
So, terrific performance by Lissy Smith.
Now, this is a very valuable combination. Back handspring, layout, step out, 2 Ds, plus the combination bonus. The idea is to have a start value of a 10.0 because that's really where you want to start from, and then the deductions. Double full dismount, a little step on the landing.
Lissy Smith, Alabama needing the big score. Remember, they have to count a 9.350 because of a couple slips. 5 out of 6 count. Waiting on Judge 2 to give us his score.
Remember, Alabama is still fortunate to finish on the floor exercise. They're ranked #1 in the country on floor. They're headed there in front of the home crowd.
Karen Litchie waiting to go. The defending NCAA champion on floor.
She also finished 2nd in the all-around at the NCAAs last year, 2nd to her teammate, Kim Arnold.
9.875 for Lissy Smith.
That is her highest score this year on the balance beam.
So here is Karen Litchie. Now, interestingly, at the start of the year, she had a slip in the UCLA meet, got a 9.325. So she's not highly ranked, but she is marvelous.
She absolutely is. And, you know, this is really her year. Her senior campaign, she should win it all at nationals. A full twisting double back in the pike position. She just performs that with such ease. She is the total package. She has it all. She has the difficulty. She has the form, the execution, the performance elements. All of it comes together especially well on this event. A front double full. She gives very little away to the judges in terms of deductions. I really think this is her year to take it all. As I said, she finished second in the all-around at Nationals last year to her teammate Kim Arnold, who's now graduated.
Just had a baby last week.
Just had a baby, Isabella, that's right.
Congratulations to her.
And she finished #1 in the all-around for the 2 previous years. So Kim's graduated and on her way, and I think it's time for Karen Litchie to take over the reins. She's been ranked #1 practically every season, all season long.
That's Suzanne Yocklin in the background.
And you know what? I think that says it all, Chris.
Yeah. Karen Litchie.
I just continue to be more and more impressed with her. She's so unfazed by the pressure. She has the skill level. She has the performance elements. She really has it all, the total package.
Suzanne told me once, she owns the gym. She is the best.
And this is really what separates her. Nobody else, we haven't seen this yet. Of course, they haven't been on floor, Alabama, but it's a full twisting, double back in the pike position, and a perfect landing. And her last tumbling pass, a front handspring, full and a half. It's called a Rudy into a back handspring, layout, step out. At the end of a routine, a Rudy is a D element, worth the same as a double back.
9.95 for Litchie, so everyone hits for Georgia. 6 for 6. The Georgia Bulldogs making up ground on the floor exercise. Rotation 3 is done. We'll come back. Rotation 4, Georgia, Bama. Next. Alabama, you're looking at the second largest crowd in SEC gymnastics history. 14,079. Chris Marlowe and Maura Driscoll. After 3 rotations, Georgia humming. They scored their season best on floor, 49-475. They have a lead on Alabama of almost a point. The all-around, Karen Litchie and Gwen Speidel locked in a duel going into the final rotation. Andrea Pickens dropping a bit because of her beam work.
So you say you don't have a t-shirt yet. Get ready to catch one. Shirt girl, maybe.
Last time these two teams met and Alabama won, it was exciting.
It was 1996, and Georgia came in as the #1 ranked team in the country. They met the #2 team, the Crimson Tide of Alabama, and in SEC record crowd, Alabama beat. It was neck and neck all night. It came down to this performance by Meredith Willard. They call her all everything at Alabama, and here's why. She was able to seal the deal for the University of Alabama, and it was the last time that Alabama beat Georgia during the regular season. It was 1996. They went on to win the national championship, and Meredith Willard won the all-around title at the NCAA. That was the last time Alabama beat Georgia here at Coleman.
It doesn't appear they're going to beat him tonight. Andrea Pickens on floor. They'd have to have a sensational floor exercise from all of their performance and hope for some falls. Let's watch Pickens.
This music is Tequila, and when she raises her arms in the air, instead of everybody yelling Tequila, everybody yells Andrea. So listen up. Opens with a front through to a double tuck.
Mandy Chapman, the first Bama floor competitor at 9.825. 9.825 Chapman.
It's all about hitting your routines. It doesn't matter how much difficulty you have, how much skill you have to hit when it counts. Beautiful. Front pull to a front somersault. Andrea was an outstanding elite gymnast. Andrea. Everybody. Beginning of the season, they have a meet the team little exhibition, and they taught the fans to say Andrea when she raises her arms in the air. And they loved that.
Alabama is the #1 team on floor in the country.
And her first tumbling pass is a front through to a double back. This is actually a watered down pass for her. She's able to do a more difficult pass, but nice and high. You can see it's very simple for her. They might be playing it safe because they don't want, I mean, they have to make up some ground here. This is a front full into immediate front somersault. She did everything that was asked of her. She finishes with a double full. A really nice routine.
9.875 for Andrea Pickens.
You know, you mentioned the crowd at Coleman Coliseum tonight. Alabama averaged 9,814 fans last year. It was the second highest average attendance for women's gymnastics programs. Georgia was #3 with 8,944.
Fans don't like that score. Excuse me.
They did not like Andrea's score. I think it was a fair score. I really do.
Christy Litchie up on the beam. Let's duck in a couple of the beam scores. Samantha Muehlman got a 9.9. Amanda Curry at 9.825. So Georgia off to another good start.
And that's the experience talking here. They handspring, layout, step out, 2 layouts like we saw in Alabama. Beautiful. You know, because Georgia has 4 seniors who were a huge part of the '98 national championship team last year, and Alabama is a young team, Georgia had the edge going into this competition with experience and ability, but they had to hit. They didn't have any misses on bars, no misses on floor, and now they're finishing on balance beam, rock solid, and that is making the difference. You have to hit.
And we mentioned the national rankings earlier that Georgia, undefeated and 5-0, they've beaten Alabama, yet they were #2. And it's all based at this point in time in gymnastics on season average, correct?
Exactly. It's because the rankings at this point are based on the season average, and they only have 5 meets. So Georgia is counting a low score from their first meet of the season, a 193, you know.
At Washington.
At Washington, exactly. But once they have 6 meets to count, they will drop the high and the low and then take the average. So Georgia will probably be ranked #1 next week, because they are on their way to the highest team score of this season.
Christy Litchie, Suzanne Yocklin, Doug McGavin, and Jay Clark, the coaching staff for Georgia, and they like this.
Watch this. That handspring, layout, step out, no form breaks, right on. This is big for Christy because she's had struggles with inconsistency. She finishes really nicely done. That's a big boost to her confidence. The score that Georgia had against Washington was a 193.375. Very uncharacteristic. And as I said, they're counting that score. But not after tonight.
So much better than that big jump, because you're doing a big,
Go back to the floor. Robin Hawkins.
Remember that Robin had total reconstructive knee surgery. She injured her knee, tore her ACL after 5 meets last season, but she still earned SEC Freshman of the Year honors.
And she was the #5 ranked all-arounder last year until she blew out her knee. So she is talented, Noah.
I'm just amazed that she's back, because the blown-out knee, when I was in college, that would end your career, but not anymore. Robin's back, and she's doing great. She opens with a whip back through to a double tuck. Again, they are capable of bigger tumbling passes, but I think they're kind of playing it safe just to have consistent scores.
Georgia's Christy Litchie at 9.875 for her beam work.
In Alabama's last meet against Florida, Sarah pulled Robin from the floor exercise because she said, even though you never know she had major knee surgery, we know it, and we're going to try to rest her as much as we can. We have that luxury this year with the depth, with so many freshmen and sophomores, and they're taking advantage of that. This is a young team, an outstanding young team. They finished 3rd in the nation last year. They consider that a big victory because they made it to the Super 6 finals. The previous year they finished 9th, and so that was a big victory, a big coup for them last year to finish 3rd. Finishes with a double full. She's a fun gymnast to watch. She has so much explosive energy. You know, I mentioned the SEC, the most competitive conference in the country for women's gymnastics. They captured the top 3 spots at nationals last year. Georgia 1, Florida 2, Alabama 3, and LSU finished number 9. First pass, whip back, through to a double tuck, nice and high, drops out of the sky. Nice. This is her second tumbling pass. 2.5 twist. A little difficulty on the landing, but not a big deal.
Waiting to score for
Meanwhile,
Robin Hawkins.
Georgia, Chris, put all the pieces of the puzzle together in '98. They went 35-0, won the SECs, the regionals, the nationals, had top 2 gymnasts in the country.
9-8-7-5 for Hawkins. We're coming back. Georgia, Alabama. More in a minute. Alabama, one of the great spots in the country for women's gymnastics. The only thing we haven't had tonight, Maura, is a 10. Let's see if Stacey Galloway can do something about that.
Don't usually see them on the balance beam. Vault and bars and maybe floor, but beam is just so tough, especially at an away arena. But Georgia has been flawless on this event. Big tumbling. Oh my gosh, that's like a tumbling pass you'd see on the floor exercise. Round off back handspring, lay out, step out. I'm surprised you could fit all that.
For Alabama to have any kind of a chance, Georgia would have to have some major bobbles, even minor falls, major falls.
And you know what? I think they are in the zone, and I really don't see it happening. They're so focused, and that's what this event requires. Focus and concentration, precision, all of which they're excelling at very well. Before coming to Georgia, Stacey represented her country, Canada, at the '92 Olympic Games. She's a 5-time Canadian national team member and a 2-time World Championship competitor. She, too, was out all last season after re-injuring her left knee in the first meet of the season.
A lot of people don't realize how dangerous and how injured you can get in the sport of gymnastics.
And you know, the torn ACL, I mean, the knee, that is the most common injury in this sport because of the twisting. There's so much twisting. It's just like getting your cleat stuck in the mud and running the other way. It's that plant and twist, and it's very common. She finishes with a beautiful double back.
It won't be a 10, but it will be a solid score. Another solid score for Georgia.
Again, the exclamation point at the end of the routine, a double back dismount, lots of difficulty, lots of height, and a perfect landing.
Solid. Good job, Jackie.
So Georgia, lots of hugs tonight as the #2 team in the country with its sights set on being #1 after this meet.
And you know what? These teams, don't forget, they meet each other again at the SEC Championships and then at Nationals. So it goes on and on, twice during the regular season, the SECs, the Nationals. What's great about this matchup is that it's a terrific barometer for both of these teams to see where they stand in the country.
Back to the floor.
Championship participant 6 times.
Lissy Smith is up. Had a 9-7-7-5 against Minnesota. Can tell you Stacey Galloway 9-8-2-5. So Georgia continues to rack up the points.
Lissy is one of 5 sophomores on the Alabama Crimson Tide squad. She opens with a double pike. Nicely done. For the freshmen and the sophomores from Alabama, this is great preparation for nationals because you meet top teams week in and week out in the SEC. Every meet has the feel of a big meet. It doesn't get much bigger than this, Alabama and Georgia. Very clean tumbling.
Sarah Patterson, David Patterson, Brian Rochella, the coaching staff for Alabama. In one way, they should be happy with the way things have gone despite poor beam work. If they hit on beam, they'd be right there.
Absolutely, they would. And, you know, they are the #1 ranked team in the country on the floor exercise. They're learning, they're growing.
Yeah.
They're a young team and they're building, and every single week they get better and better. You know, maybe they miss a little here, but they gain a little over here, and that's all she can expect from them.
You know what this music's from?
I do not.
It's a contemporary hit, Perry Mason. From my time.
So that's why I didn't know.
That's the one
now
tune.
I feel much better.
That's the one tune I do recognize.
Oh my goodness.
Where's Paul Drake when you need him? So Lissy Smith, who has been pretty good tonight.
And she started out with a very big tumbling pass, a beautiful double pike, 2 flips backward, pike position, little leg separation. That is a D element worth 1/10 of bonus. And her final tumbling run. It requires so much stamina to finish the routine. It's a double full. Trust me, you're out of breath by the time that tumbling pass comes around.
9.85. A new career high for Lissy Smith. All right, coming up next, the great Karen Litchie. She can clinch the all-around with a big performance. Stay with us. Driscoll. We are right down to it. The 4th and final rotation as we get set for Karen Litchie. 9.825 would guarantee her a win in the all-around.
And she averages a 9.894, so she has an excellent chance to clinch the all-around. And you know, you're probably tired of hearing this, but she's ranked #1 on this event also.
And she has the highest beam score in the country this year, 9.975, so she's capable of popping a big one.
Again, so clean, flawless execution. Here's her big tumbling pass, back handspring, lay out, step out,
Whoa.
right on.
Are you breathing easy at this point in time after you get done with that tumbling pass?
Oh my gosh, it's a huge sigh of relief. But you know, you can't let your guard down too much, because
Yeah.
that's when things fall apart and you fall in a full turn or something really basic. Skills are divided into 5 different categories, from simplest to most difficult. The levels are A to E, A being a basic skill, E being the most difficult. You've heard me mention all night, D move, E move. A D is worth 1/10 of bonus, and E is worth 2/10 of bonus. Look at her form, beautiful flexibility. She's just unfazed because she has so much experience. And before she even got to college, she had a ton of international experience, and it really shows.
Of course, if you follow women's gymnastics, you probably know that woman is the only woman in gymnastics history to record a 40 in the all-around. Get a 10 on each apparatus.
That's a 10 on every event in the same night.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Against Kentucky 2 years ago. Karen Litchie needs a 9.825 to clinch the all-around.
And I think she will definitely get that. This is her tumbling pass, back handspring, layout, step out, right on the money. And she finishes. This is beautiful. Watch this. She swings her leg through and does a double gainer, double full. A little hop to the side, but Suzanne.
Waiting for her score.
You know, that's true. Suzanne Yoklin said, you're really a champion. When the pressure's on, you came through, and that is what it's all about. And Coach Yoklin said to me, when it comes to nationals, if I had to bet on anyone, I'd bet on my team.
The champion, 9.9 for Karen Litchie. So she will win the all-around.
Ho-hum, another day leading the all-around.
All right, let's go back to the floor. Congratulations to Karen Litchie, but we're not done yet. Gwen Speidel, the senior from Gallatin, Missouri, started her gymnastics career at the age of 7.
Speidel is a huge crowd favorite, especially on the floor exercise. Number 4 in the nation. She opens with a front full to a front tuck. Now that's a very valuable combination. That front full is a D, which is the same as a double back. Plus, when you combine those skills, you get another 10th of bonus. So So there are easier ways to get big bonus. Some people would call it safe, some others would call it smart. It's just a matter of philosophy. This is where the home crowd can really help you. And they love to see her perform. She really lights it up out there. Gwen competed all around for the first time all season when they inserted her into the vault lineup. And I think they want to give her a chance to compete all around so that she can put up a strong finish in her senior year at the national championships.
She has meant so much to the Alabama gymnastics program.
Lots of front tumbling, really pretty. God, it's really nice. You know, Coach Patterson calls her a gamer, and you can see why.
Very nice.
Can't ask for much more than that.
Senior Gwen Speidel.
Now Gwen is a twister, and she likes to tumble in the forward position. This is a front layout with a full twist into an immediate punch front. Lots of twisting, but she's very clean. And here's a round off, double full. See, beautiful, opens up with plenty of room to spare. And our last tumbling pass, some more twisting. This time forward, it's a front full, round off, layout step up.
So Gwen Speidel huffing and puffing just a bit. Okay, we'll give you the score when we come back. We'll have more. Georgia, Alabama. Maura Driscoll, former UCLA star, set for the final two performers of the night. Speidel gets a 9.85 for her floor routine. And Jenny Beathard, who can be spectacular.
She was the 98 NCAA co-champion on the balance beam, a title she shared with her teammate Kim Arnold, who graduated and just had a baby, as we told you all earlier.
You hear the scattered boos in the background as they posted the Speidel score.
And her tumbling pass.
Oh, and there she goes.
Very shocking, very unusual. She's kind of laughing because she knows that her score does not have to count, because everyone up hit their routine. Remember, 6 perform, only 5 scores count. And that's the cushion, you know, that's the cushion.
And the Alabama fans, for the first time tonight, applaud a Georgia routine.
Our first mistake of the night, no pressure.
Once again, the Georgia coach, Suzanne Yacklin, wired up tonight. Oh, she's wired all right.
Being a little sassy, as she loves to be. Yeah, she's good at that. Very outspoken, and there's a lot of history, like I said, with this rivalry. All sorts of situations where, Suzanne has been misquoted. You know, Alabama fans cheering Georgia mistakes, things like that. So these two teams are not, as I said, very fond of each other.
Come on, Jenny, get
Well,
this
Suzanne
down. Come on,
Yacklin
baby. Come on, Jenny, get
has
after
built a
it.
powerhouse. She's got her own
You got this,
TV
Jenny.
show.
Come on, Jenny, you got it.
8 of the Georgia meets are on television.
Yeah, Jenny, come on, Jenny.
Gym Dogs have their own internet site. And she has done a marvelous job, as has Sarah Patterson. These are two coaches, innovative coaches.
They really set the bar for all women's coaches.
Absolutely.
That was beautiful.
Well, the ending was not spectacular, but Georgia, we think, is headed for the highest score of the year in women's gymnastics.
This is the only mistake of the night for the Georgia Gym Dogs. Comes on her tumbling pass, 2 back handsprings, layout step out. She dropped her shoulder there, and so went her body. A 5/10 deduction when you fall off of any apparatus. But she really finished strong. Finishes with a 2.5 twist. She's kind of laughing because she knows that she knows how to hit that routine perfectly.
You guys showed out tonight, whatever that means. I don't know what it means. You showed out. You showed out, Blizzard. You guys were awesome.
It is a real gymnastic.
Who said that? You really, great job. That's real great.
Let's go back to the floor. The 5'4" freshman from Mastic Beach, New York, Reagan Tomasek. 9.375.
With the fall, 5/10 deduction, so that's a great score.
Once again, that score does not count, though.
That's right.
So Tomasek, one of the 6 freshmen.
Before coming to Georgia, she was coached by Kelly Hill, who coached 2-time U.S. Olympian Dominique Dawes. And watch this tumbling pass. If she throws it, I'm not sure if she's going to throw it.
Why not?
Well, they might just want to play it safe a little bit, but there you go.
Yeah.
That's why. Arabian double front. That's a 5/10 deduction because she fell. That's so tough to do. Whenever you're rotating forward, it's a blind landing. Pretty double full. That's the only Arabian double front we have seen of the night. An E move. The toughest skill you can do in gymnastics. An E element is. So both Georgia and Alabama are finishing with falls. That's kind of interesting. I think talent-wise, Alabama was just a little bit outmatched by Georgia. I mean, Georgia has so much talent and experience and depth. It's certainly no shame to lose to the University of Georgia.
Well, certainly where the inexperience shows up is on balance beam, because that's certainly the toughest event.
And that's where they've struggled, Alabama, all season long. Now this is her big signature move. It's called an Arabian double front. You punch, do a half twist and 2 somersaults in the forward position. She wasn't in a tight enough tuck. It's so hard to land that. You really need to know where you are in the air. And she fell. It's a 5/10 deduction. And her second pass is a double full. Fairly simple skill, but nicely done. And she finished strong. Front layout, immediate punch front. Clean.
Some talented freshmen. A 9.275 for that performance. We're going to come back and we'll give you Georgia's final score. Will it be the highest score of the year? Stay with us. We'll find out. Pullman Coliseum, where the Georgia Gym Dogs have come to Tuscaloosa and beaten Alabama by almost a point. Georgia, the first team this year to go over 197. The all-around won by Karen Litchie, 39.725. Gwen Speidel and Andrea Pickens in second and third. Well, let's go down to the floor now. Maura Driscoll standing by with Suzanne Yochlin. Maura?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, Suzanne, congratulations. You just put up your biggest score of the season, and you did it in this hostile environment. How difficult is that to come in here and perform like you did tonight?
Well, I think it's always difficult when you come into an arena and you're obviously the underdog because you're ranked number 2, and we haven't lost a meet. I mean, we haven't lost a meet against Alabama in the last 10 regular season meets. So the target on our back is huge. It's neon. It can't get any bigger. But champions show up when they're called on.
Absolutely. And your performance, the performance of your team was flawless. I mean, until Jenny Beathard's fall on the balance beam. Why did you put all the pieces of the puzzle together tonight?
Well, because like I said, I mean, this is the competition. This is the one. We were going against the #1 team in the country, and we wanted to make a statement that we were the #1 team in the country, and we did that tonight.
I saw you when they laughed when Jenny Beathard fell, and you said, oh, the pressure was on. I mean, for the first time, a fall. What do you think about that when the crowd has a reaction like that?
Well, the pressure was off, and that's what it is. I mean, Jenny let up just a little bit because there was no pressure, and like I said before, I mean, this is a team of champions, a team of competitors, and they thrive on the competition. The competition was over. We had already won, and Jenny was just getting up there and trying to throw a new dismount, something new for her tonight, which she did do that, so she accomplished a lot in that routine.
And you couldn't be prouder of this woman on my left here, senior Karen Litchie, who has just come up big time and time again. You continue to impress me, your consistency. What is it for you that, I mean, what's your secret for consistency?
Well, I just go in the gym and train hard every day. And, I have a great team that backs me up. On every event, they build and we build and we build. And, it's just great to be able to finish with a bang.
This is, I think, your year to take it all at the national championships. You were second in the all-around last year. What do you think your chances are for this coming April?
Well, I think I have, just as good a chance as anybody else. And if I, can stay consistent and can stay focused, I think, I have a great chance.
And what do you guys think about repeating as national champions? You put it all together last year in '98, and you have an excellent chance. It certainly appears that you have an excellent chance to repeat this season.
Right, I think we do. You have such a strong team. We have 4 seniors and such, great upperclassmen and great leadership that, I think we can take it again.
Well, good luck to you and congratulations. An outstanding performance by the Georgia Gym Dogs. Let's go back to Chris.
All right, Maura Driscoll, once again, the final score. Georgia beats Alabama 2, knocks off 1 by nearly a point. Georgia still undefeated at 6-0. That should get them to the #1 spot when the new rankings come out. Bama drops to 4-2. It's only 2 losses to the Gym Dogs. For Maura Driscoll, I'm Chris Marlowe. Hope you enjoyed it. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.